All right, Coach, so it's finally game week. So what are your thoughts on your team going in?
Yeah, I'm just excited to finally see them play against somebody else. I think everybody's getting to that point. You face your guys, and you kind of want to go out there and get a judging stick on kind of where you're at right now. And so, great opponent for us to start with, Lamar. Obviously, I'm very knowledgeable about the Southland. I mean, being in that league for 4 years, what Pete's been able to do that has been really impressive, in my opinion. I mean, a team that, I think was second in the conference overall defense last year. I mean, I thought they did a really nice job keeping people out of the end zone, keeping them off balance. They got a bunch of guys back. I mean, a veteran squad, a bunch of seniors, got a quarterback coming back, got a really explosive wideout coming back. And so, quality opponent for us. I mean, I think you watch what they've been able to do the last couple of years against FBS opponents. Is something for us to learn from. Playing Texas State and ULM the year before within 10 points, and they're right there, right? And I think bringing guys back, this will be a ball club that'll come in and be excited to play us. And so, we got to prepare really well. I mean, I thought we had a really good practice today for us. I mean, it's about winning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Taking some off of it, and then mentally preparing on Friday, and then finally getting out, being able to come and handling, the late kick. I think will be important for us. I mean, we're going to be anxious, obviously, all day long. I think these kids are ready to go out and show, this university in this city, kind of what they've been working towards. And so excited, bunch of emotions. I'm just ready to get that first kickoff on the way, and let's play some ball.
Where are you guys from a health perspective? I noticed that Landon's not on the depth chart here for the season opener.
Yeah, so Landon's been a little banged up, and he's kind of week to week right now. So he was out there, ran around today. And so, if we play tomorrow, he wouldn't be going. But really confident kind of what Barron Tipton gives us right there. He's a guy that's really grown over the offseason, a big target, 6'5", 210 pounds. So made some great catches down the field. And then Terrence Lewis is a guy right behind him, another freshman. And so you look at the depth chart and, might be a little bit nervous. You got a redshirt freshman and a freshman there starting at your X receiver spot. But they've had great camps. They deserve it. And so, just like everybody else on the team, excited about that, just to see how they perform when the lights come on.
Coach, you've been the head coach of an FCS program before. Is there an additional layer of motivation, playing an in-state FBS opponent as well?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think anytime, you're able to travel on the road, and these are guys, that would love to be sitting in these seats. Those are guys that I think will come in here with a chip on their shoulder and have something to prove. And I think, even though now we do have revenue share, we have the portal, all these different things, I don't think that takes away the emotions of the underdog story in college sports. And I think, that's why we always love college sports. That's why we love the stories. We fall in love with them. And so, yeah, I mean, I think they'll come in and what they've shown on tape the last couple of years. I mean, this is a tough ball club. They put a heavy emphasis on running the football on the offensive side of the ball. They're really multiple on defense. I mean, come out, they'll play 3 down, they play 4 down, they'll blitz, they pressure, play multiple coverages on the back end. So, we'll have to be on top of what we're doing on both sides of the ball and making sure we're playing good, fundamentally sound football. I think sometimes, technique goes out the window in the first game and with anxiety, the build-up. That's something we have to avoid. We have a bunch of guys that have played a ton of meaningful games in the past that are going to be playing for us, even though that might have not been here. So, I mean, it's something we got to really lock into the moment, trust what we're doing, trust, the packages we put together on all 3 sides of the ball, and just go out there, play fast, execute, and have fun.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you about that left guard and center position. Gabe Blair is obviously listed at both of them. Just, what are your kind of plans for that first initial drive of who you'll put out there?
Yeah, we'll start with Tay at center and Gabe at left guard right there. And so I feel like that's kind of given us, the best options right now is to keep those 2 guys. I think Tay's been really good as far as just he's so damn smart and being able to get the fronts called and getting us into the right protections and kind of set the front up front. And so and then you'll see Dylan Shaw at some point in the course of this game. Dylan's a guy that I think has earned a right to play in this football game, and so Gabe can slide into center at any time, or we give Gabe a break. So I think those 4 guys, those 3 along with Johnny Dixon will be the 4 inside pieces that you see in this game.
Absolutely. I had the same question for the kicker as well. You guys have two different guys listed. Just who do you imagine will take the first field goal if needed?
Yeah, I mean that's a battle that we continue to let those guys run with right now. I mean, I think Callie's a guy that you'll probably see go out and kick our first field goals. and then who we do kick off depends on what the wind's blowing. I mean, I think Miguel's a guy that has a little bit of a stronger leg on some of the kickoff stuff, and so depending on if we're trying to hang one up, with the wind and get some hang time on it, or if we're trying to kick it out of the back of the end zone. So I think you'll also see both of those kickers at some point during this game.
How much confidence do you have in this team and specifically defense going into this year compared to your first 2 seasons here?
Yeah, I've liked the preparation so far. I mean, obviously, that's all got to come to fruition when we get out there on the field and be able to execute at a high level. And so, these guys have worked their tails off. I think, the good part of it, and I've said this a ton this year, is just having those 6 guys that have, played in this system and made adjustments, and they've been on the sideline with these coaches when they're making in-game adjustments. It's something I think will settle everybody down on that side of the ball. You got a Mike linebacker like Trey Fields that's, been in the battle in this system. They've made, the halftime adjustments, all those different things. And so luckily we have those guys that are playing for us. And then naturally, there's a bunch of pieces. I think Will Jones is a guy that's going to have to communicate at a high level on the back end for us. And so, yeah, excited to let them go out there and turn it loose.
Evan Jackson and B.J. Allen are 2 guys that returned from last year in the secondary. What they kind of do to get those starting spots, even though they're listed as or, what they kind of do to get those?
Yeah, I think you'll see Evan a lot in this. I think he really fits in this defense, and you're going to see Pat Smith as well. I mean, he's a guy that, has come in here and earned an opportunity to go out there and play meaningful reps for us. And so, I think between those 3, of Will, Pat, and Evan as the safeties that you'll mainly see in this game, moving Q Hammonds down to nickel is a spot that we think we can, do some different things with him and be a versatile player, play man coverage, be able to blitz, be able to, fit the runs, and ask him to kind of be a jack of all trades and be able to do different things for us. BJ will come in the game, and I think BJ has gotten so much better through the course of these last 6 to 7 months. I think he really understands what we're trying to accomplish. He's really good in space, really good tackler in space, and one of the best blitzers on this team. And so yeah, just looking forward to watching those guys kind of fit into their role in this new scheme.
What's the message that you kind of have for fans and students to show up early, come into the games, and battle that traffic that's out on Bonnie Bray right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's simple. It's the first game of the season. Hopefully they're excited as we are. I think, they're asking everybody to show up a little bit earlier, which is easy in my opinion, right? I mean, there's a ton of tailgate space around here, and you show up 3 or 4 hours early. I think there's a bunch of promotions, free concession stand stuff. If they show up a couple hours before, you get, a bunch of discounts on different things, apparels and such. And so, yeah, just get here, bring a TV, bring a fire pit. Go to your parking spot, drink a couple cold beers or pops or something, and have fun. That college football is almost here. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a distraction if we allow it to be, and it's just an excuse for all of our fans. I mean, if our excuse is we're not coming because there's traffic, I mean, shoot, I've had to put it up with it every single day for the last 6 or 7 months on how to get to work, and so yeah, just don't let it be an excuse and show up and enjoy watching this team play.
Hey, Coach, just as compared to the last 2 season openers, a little bit of a more favorable matchup for you guys this year. Do you think it gives you guys just some good early momentum?
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, I think this is a super quality ball club. I think, they built it the right way. I think they have older players that have been in the system that understand what they're trying to accomplish. They have guys that are seasoned. Their offensive line is super old. I mean, anytime you get, and I don't care what level you're at, if you're Power 4, you're FBS or FCS, I think anytime you get the continuity on a team, I mean, that's huge. These guys know how to play together. They've been a part of this system for 3 years. I think they've been able to keep the defensive staff together. The DC's going on his 3rd year. So I think they'll have a bunch of energy and momentum coming into this game of executing at a high level. And so we got to do our part. We got to go out there. We got to match that. We got to establish a run game on the offensive side of the ball. I think, this stable of backs that we're about to throw at them is an explosive bunch, and we got to do a great job of being able to get those guys in space, get them on safeties, and get them in the open field to showcase their skill sets. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that, at the end of the day, this is going to come back to how we play, but we understand. I mean, this is a great opponent for us to face starting off the gate.
In the modern football world where teams are revamped almost every season, how big is it to bring in those experienced transfers, especially on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, that's something that's, proven true for us, the last 2 years and really going back and doing some self-service and some self-evaluation of what's worked for us and what hasn't throughout, signing portal guys. And I think anytime we bring guys in that have, snaps gained somewhere else, those guys come in, they're ready to play. They're used to being on the field when live bullets are coming and making adjustments and seeing what's going on and being able to run and tackle and block and do all the things we're asking them to do. So yeah, I mean, just there's a bunch of great examples of our safeties we brought in. Have played a lot of football. We got wideouts in Cam Dorner and Simeon that have played a ton. Trey Williams is a guy who started the last couple of years at a Division II school. And so, the list kind of goes on the guys that have played significant amounts, even though that might not be here. So, that was huge for us in the offseason and recruiting that. And I think it's paid off for us. And you can see those guys, I think they're ready to go a little bit faster once they get here.
You preached about Drew and just his savvy and knowledge of the system. What type of performance are you expecting out of him this first game?
Yeah, I think, just got to play within himself. He's someone that, he knows this offense so well. You'll see him checking at times just because I think getting us in the right play, whether that's the right run, whether we're, they're going man, they're going zone, and get us into something that he likes. And so his knowledge of the system is going to be huge for us. He's a guy that obviously we need to do a great job protecting, let him go through his progressions. He's a great progression guy. And then he's athletic. I think we saw that in the bowl game. And so we'll pick our spots on when we want to run him. He's not a guy, he's a big, strong, fast guy at 6'4", 215 pounds. But at the same time, he's not someone we want his right arm to be healthy throughout the course of the season. And so we'll pick our spots where we'll, add a little bit of quarterback run game in there. But yeah, excited for him to kind of have the reins now, for the team and be able to get all these 1 reps, get on the same page as all these wideouts, and then go out and perform at a high level.
And while we're talking about Drew here, what did he do to separate himself over the course of fall camp?
Yeah, I think just consistency of really the past, 7 or 8 months. I think you go into the bowl game not knowing really how he's going to perform when the lights are on, and he's actually out there taking live snaps. Thought he, did a fantastic job going out there and competing game 1, and then I think that carried over into the spring. I think his confidence continued to build. He knows the system, what we're trying to do, and then I think, anytime we went live or in team segments, it was someone that the ball just seemed to move really well with him. His completion, percentage was in the 80s when we went team segments throughout the course of fall camp and of spring, dating back to spring. And so, yeah, I think it was just a body of work that he put together. It wasn't like, hey, he had one wow moment. I think just the consistency of him coming day in, day out, continue to get better and make good decisions. I mean, being a quarterback at an elite level is all about decision making, and I think he processes extremely fast and continues to take great pride in protecting the football.
Yeah, his life has changed pretty dramatically over the last few months when you think about it. How has he handled that? Going from somebody that nobody knows, being a walk-on, to being the face of the program.
Yeah, he's the same old guy. I think, a light-hearted guy off the field, always smiling. I think he's somebody that I think he has a girlfriend now, maybe changed. He has a girlfriend with a little bit of familiarity with TikTok. That he's supposedly famous on TikTok for, the long run and the throw up and all that different stuff that happened. Obviously a great story in college sports, a guy that comes in as an unrecruited walk-on, not expecting much and be able to rise as fast as he did, and then technically now be a freshman on the field and come out and earn the starting role. I think that it just goes to show you, that even nowadays with the recruiting sites and with all these guys that are specialty on what they're evaluating and guys coming out and having the stars and this and that, there's still awesome stories where guys they develop at different times in their life. And I think he's a great example that, he could have been negative and just went on with his life and decided to not play football. He believed in himself, and I think that's the most important thing with any athlete, right? First and foremost, they better believe in what they can do or they're, not going to be very successful. And so yeah, it's been fun to watch him just kind of blossom into what he is today. And just the confidence level and the volume and the base that he has in the huddle with these offensive linemen. It's just fun to see how far he's come, how much he's grown.
Yeah, because we really haven't talked to him a whole lot, or even at all. You've gotten to know him over this time. What's he like just as a guy to be on?
Yeah, I think a guy that, enjoys to hang out with the guys. I think a guy that's going to go out and go wakeboarding and wake surfing with the guys in the summer, that's going to get a golf game together, super competitive, likes to play video games with all the guys that he lives with. So I think just a normal one of the guys when he's outside of here. And I think that's why guys respect him. They're drawn to him. They respect the way he works on the field, in the weight room, all those different things. And so yeah, just a natural leader, but it's been fun to watch. I mean, I think he's become more and more vocal as his roles increased around here.
Yeah, I mean, Coach, you guys brought in a transfer quarterback in the offseason. Did you guys have to make some adjustments as far as your NIL budget and what money goes where with him?
Oh, no, Raj and Steve handle all of our NIL stuff, all of our revenue share stuff, and so that's something I enjoyed it to still be coach and them not be worried about, if I'm going to make the final decision on what they're being paid or not paid. And so that question's above my pay grade, actually.
There you go. And I also wanted to ask you real quick about Joshua Pierce. He's one of those guys that was kind of interesting, came in from a smaller school level. You mentioned that you guys will rotate a lot of defensive linemen. Is he going to be in that mix, and what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I think so. I think, love the size, love the length, love the attitude, super smart player. I think you'll see him playing some special teams for us too. I think that's one thing, just with adding different body types this year, both our tight ends and then our defensive ends, just having some long, 6'4", 6'5", 250-pound bodies is a really good, thing for us on special teams. I think we get ourselves into some advantageous matchups on having the size advantage there. That's something that we haven't had that luxury the last couple of years, and so I think you'll see those guys in multiple roles around here. But yeah, I mean, I think you'll see, a healthy dose of 6 different defensive ends in this game. Want to keep them fresh and be able to continue to attack the quarterback, put pressure on them, and so he'll have a large role in that.
Coach, you've been obviously able to see Drew during practice and all that, but how much do you think is still unknown about him, considering that he only has that, one career start at the college level?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a blank canvas right now, which is cool in some aspects. I think, we haven't really had to correct a bunch of bad habits that he's been in this habit since, he was in the 10th grade doing the same thing. And so it's something when we got this kind of blank, thing, and you say, hey, it's like clay, you're going to mold it exactly how you want to. But yeah, I mean, there's no, stretch the imagination. We think Drew's going to go out there and be perfect. We think, he played extremely well in the first game. I thought he was really good at handling pressure. He was accurate. He manipulated the pocket well. He got us in and out of some stuff. But at the same time, we had some stuff that, we had 2, really bad turnovers there in the red zone in the bowl game. So there's still a ton of learning curve that's going to happen with Drew and just playing the position and seeing new things. And that's one good thing I think about the defense he's facing with what Coach Cassidy's done is we've seen so many different fronts, so many different coverages. And so I think it's prepared him. I mean, we've seen a ton of man, we've seen a ton of cover 4, a ton of cover 3, some Tampa 2 stuff. I mean, all kinds of different looks. So I think these reps have been so valuable for him to be able to actually get ready and see different looks, 4 down, 3 down, coverage, man, zone, all the different things.
Absolutely, yeah. In your time here, he's the only starting quarterback you've had more than a year with. How much of an advantage is that in terms of his development in the system?
That's a crazy stat. That's true. More than 1 year, is that right? I don't know. I have to think about that a little bit. It's crazy to think about, but. Yeah, I mean, everything's expedited in today's world, right? And so I think Coach Brophy does a phenomenal job at, spending extra time. I think the good thing is, Drew and Reese and Chris, are guys that love this game of football and they're always wanting, they're gym rats. They want to be up here watching extra film, studying all the different stuff. And so yeah, I mean, I think you just continue to pour into them. Obviously, I'd love to have a guy that we're going into third year with playing quarterback, and he's been in the system and done all these different things. But that hasn't been the cards we've been played. So we'll continue to coach the hell out of the guys that are with us in that room. And I think fortunately right now our quarterback room by far is having 3 guys that we think can go out there and we can win football games. I mean, we haven't had that since we've been here, and so lucky to have those guys. And there'll be times like you'll see Reese Poffenberger in this game at some point, and so to have those guys, we feel extremely blessed. But yeah, we got to continue to develop, and hopefully, next year, if we have a guy for 2 years, I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah, you mentioned just now that you want to play Reese Poffenberger a little bit in this game. Just how do you imagine playing time to be split?
Yeah, I mean, I think, being a quarterback guy and being able to know, I think there's so much psychology that's played within that room and what's going on. So, first and foremost, Drew's our starting quarterback. He has our 100% confidence in this whole entire staff. And so it's not like, hey, if you make a mistake, we're going to pull you and he's nervous about what's going on. Not like that at all. But I do think Reese has a valuable skill set. I think he's tough, he's gritty, he can run, he can throw, he can do all kinds of different things. And so I think it'll be something that we can form some packages around just kind of his skill set, his strengths, and let him go out there and compete, because he's one of the fierce competitors on this team, one of the most fierce. And so so that's something we'll try to just find some bits and pieces on what we do each week.
You guys named June, Gabe Blair, and Sawyer Evans the captains for this team this year. They've played here their whole career. What is it like to you as a coach in this day and age of college football to have those guys stick around and be those captains on this team?
Yeah, and that was something, usually sometimes we allow our team to vote for captains, and that was something that was just kind of done internally. I think those guys have all earned it. I think, they know what it's like to go to school here. June and Gabe both started here, and between the two of them, I think it's like 37 starts for Gabe and 26 for June. And so I just think they have so much sweat equity built up in this place that it's important to them. I know that. And what better to have those guys go out and lead you onto the field each and every week. And so what we'll do going forward, though, the players of the week every week that we feel like one offense, one defense, one special teams, we'll go out and they'll be captains with them. And so have a little bit of somebody go represent this team as we continue to find out who these guys. I thought there were so many guys. We have older guys that we brought in that are super mature right now. And we started looking at captains. I thought there was 8 or 9 guys that really have done a nice job and being vocal and doing everything we've asked that probably deserved it with having so many new bodies on this roster. So I thought this was a cool way to have those guys that have stuck it out. They've been through multiple coaches, a bunch of portal windows. Sawyer Evans is a guy, too, that, he was at Texas Southern to start, but has been here the whole entire time I've been here. To watch him grow, to watch him, just handle everything like a pro, a vet, continue to grow. So those 3 guys I thought have earned that. And then I think, too, we'll continue to have other guys that step up in the season. They'll be able to go out and represent this team. The week following, they have a great performance.
And Trey Williams comes in here as a transfer. What have you kind of seen from him? He's listed as a starter right now. What have you kind of seen, and how is he going to be contributing to this offense?
Yeah, I think just, a little bit of a Swiss Army knife for us. I think he allows us to be versatile. I think he's a guy that has, the size and strength that you need to do some tight end stuff for us. But at the same time, he's good enough to put out in space and run all the routes and us get some good matchups against linebackers with him. And so yeah, I think he'll allow us to play fast and stay in 11 personnel the majority of the time. Him and BJ, I think BJ gives you the same thing. Trey is a little bit stronger right now, a little bit probably better in some of the run game stuff. BJ has great ball skills. He has length on the perimeter, can block on the perimeter. But I think, Trey's kind of earned that job to where he's been, better at a variety of different things. And so I'm excited to see him just he's been phenomenal since he's gotten here. And so I'm excited to see him go out there and execute at a high level and be explosive and make our run game explosive while, also being explosive in the passing game and being able to, catch some balls down the field.
Yeah, Coach, the new DC brought over a bunch of guys from his defense that he had last year. How do you think that benefited him from implementing his scheme into the Mean Green defense?
Yeah, something I've talked about just over and over the course of the last, 6 to 8 months is I think, having, and especially, a Mike linebacker that knows the calls, that's hearing him on the player to coach communication has been big for us, and then 2 corners that we think, that are going to be a huge, piece to our success this year, and then adding the defensive lineman in there. So yeah, Bryson Haynes is as good of an end as we've had. That's continues to get better. It's extremely hard for us to block our offensive side of the ball. And then Richard Outland in the middle is a guy that I think is one of the top DTs that we've had around here in a long time. You know, really good against the run, and then can really, can affect the quarterback in some pass rush situation stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think they'll allow, and I'm excited to have them on game day for the first time too. I think it'll make it a little bit more seamless on game day.
Last question for Coach.
Yeah, just to wrap up here, I wanted to ask you about your NIL challenge. This is the first time we've seen you since you instituted that, and it seems like it's gone pretty well. You've gone well over 50,000. What's your reaction to just the response from North Texas Nation here with what they've done?
Yeah, I've always thought, North Texas, we kind of have power in numbers. I think that's one thing. We have a ton of alumni, and especially in the DFW area. And I think, that's got to be our pathway to be able to catch some of these other schools. I think if we can take that approach, and which would be the Walmart approach, if you would, or something like that, but everybody realizing like, hey, you don't have to give, $5,000-$10,000 to make a difference right now. I think if we can have, $20,000 people give $20, I mean, all of a sudden you start adding up in a hurry, and it makes a huge difference for us as we continue to grow this thing. I think coming into American on a better national platform to be able to continue to grow this brand is something that's going to be vital to our success around here. And so yeah, I mean, I encourage people to continue to give where they want, and I think our athletic director does a phenomenal job presenting this. Whatever your heart desires or whatever makes you happy, you can help us in that way. Whether it's in a brick and mortar thing, we're about to renovate all of our day-to-day operation stuff. I'm really excited about that, to be able to triple the size of the weight room, redo some of our office space that's a little bit outdated. If you enjoy that, give to that. If you enjoy the old school college scholarship, our Mean Green Scholarship Fund's a great way to give, to continue to support these guys in the scholarship. And then, if you're feeling a little bit frisky at any point, drop some money into my challenge right there, and continue to allow us to raise that thing. I think we had another donor step up and was going to match now up to 75, and so, which is cool. It's been cool to see keep people get behind this. It took us 11 days to reach the 50 grand, so it just shows we got people out there that care about what's going on, about continuing to grow this place. They're proud of this place, and so yeah, just keep encouraging people to really give where their heart desires.
Yes, you think that kind of money will make a big difference?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty easy. And I think nowadays, people get upset just because, we have a lot of attrition. And I think that's one big thing that's going to allow us to keep people, is we're not talking about, hey, let's just go buy a bunch of new players every year. Hey, these guys that perform at a high level, they love North Texas, they love Denton, like let's find a way to pay them and retain them. And so that's just something that's college football right now. And if we think that isn't going to help us, then we're way behind times, and we're going to be, we're going to have a long little journey in front of us. So appreciate you guys.
All right, Drew, so making your first appearance here, what's the feeling like to you finally be named the starter?
I mean, it's awesome. Obviously, it's been not a very common thing in my football career, and to finally have this moment and, kind of be the guy and have the team rally around, it's really special.
Yeah, I mean, what's the journey been like? I mean, you've come so far in just the last couple of months. We didn't even know who you were a few months ago. Now all of a sudden you're starting. What's the process been like for you along the way? I
mean, it's kind of just been a battle within myself, just kind of a mental battle, because, at the end of the day, can't control whether, what Coach Morris is thinking and try to worry about that. I just got to kind of go at it every day and give it my best shot, and that was kind of just my mentality whenever I first got here, showing up as quarterback 6 or quarterback 5, just kind of grind my way up every day, and that ended up getting me to the backup spot last year, and then same thing this year, just going at it with Reese for the QB1 spot. Just kind of show up every day, give it my all, and try to be as consistent as I can and keep stacking days.
Did the experience last year help that you gained along the way and then in the bowl game?
For sure. I mean, being in the offense, I felt like it kind of clicked to me pretty quick. And then, all last season plus the bowl game just helped me become more and more confident in it and comfortable in it. And, really helped me coming into this year.
How's your life changed over these last few months?
I mean, it's been crazy. Thinking back to a year ago where I was at this time, I never would have thought I would have been here. And so, I think just being grateful for the moment and living in the moment is really all I can do at this point.
Yeah, your high school coach said that you really haven't changed a bit. Do you feel like you're still the same guy, or have you taken pride in still being the same person you always have been?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm still the same guy I was a year ago, 2 years ago, and that's what I try to be. I try to be the same, show up the same guy every day. Just because my title's changed doesn't mean I'm the big macho guy now. I'm still the same guy, and I think that's what got me to this point, is just showing up the same guy every day.
Yeah, signed with an NIL agent. I thought that was kind of interesting the other day. What went into that decision?
I mean, I kind of talked to my quarterback coach, Jeff Christensen, about that, and he kind of got me set up with him during fall camp, and it's just for the future, getting set up for the future and everything.
For you, where do you think that patience originates for you? The mindset you had to wait for your opportunity.
I mean, I think it's just my love for football. I didn't want to go out and, I've always had dreams to play at the biggest level, and, I wasn't going to let, a year of not playing quarterback kind of kill that dream for me. So it's just kind of, having that dream and having those goals and doing anything I can to reach them.
And you kind of mentioned it, but when you walked on at North Texas, did you envision one day that you'd be the starting quarterback of this team?
I mean, I feel like as a quarterback, you kind of have to. You gotta have that confidence about yourself. But I didn't think it'd be this quick. And but as the days went on, I kind of realized, like, yeah, I'm meant to be here. Like, I can do this. And confidence just builds whenever you have coaches like these who believe in you.
Throughout the course of camp, what do you feel like you were able to kind of show to actually win that QB1 job?
I just feel like I showed kind of my maturity in the offense and just kind of my consistency. And, like, I kind of just going into it, my goal was just kind of play and what the defense gives you. Don't force anything. Don't, try to make something bigger than it really isn't. So just kind of show up and kind of take what the defense gives you and go from there.
We weren't able to speak with you at that time, but what was that whole bowl experience like last year?
I mean, it was awesome. It honestly feels like a dream. It was going really fast, and that's a huge milestone in my life and a great opportunity that I was blessed with from Coach Morris.
You went kind of viral on social media for throwing up in the trash can. What was kind of going through your mind after that run and going into that throwing up in the trash can?
I was just so hype. And, I talked to Miles, my roommate at the time, Miles Coleman, and, talking before the game, I was like, I just want to rip off a big run. I was like, I just want to get into open space and, show everyone how fast I am and get in the end zone. And to have that moment actually happen, and I was just like living on a high, and then kind of get to the sideline and you're calming down and everyone's hitting you and everything, and then it just happened, and I had to find a trash can real quick.
Speaking of Miles Coleman, you guys from the same high school, you've been together for a long time. What is it like to now be on the same field starting at the same time with him? I
mean, it's awesome. I kind of said last year a little bit, just he's kind of my safety blanket out there. I know exactly what he's going to do. He knows exactly what I'm going to do. I mean, we've known each other for so long in the first place and then played together since, Pop Warner. So we kind of are always on the same page. And, whenever you're you're kind of out there and drives are stalling out, and you can just have that guy to look to. It makes it a lot more comfortable back there.
You know, you guys lost some top receivers from last year, but you replaced them. You know, what have you kind of seen from some of those guys, and who's kind of stood out for you?
I mean, I think Simeon Evans has really stepped up, and you know, he's kind of a veteran guy in the receiver room and kind of has played a lot of football. And I think having him out there, and he's just a disciplined route runner, has strong hands, and having a guy like another reliable guy out there that you can count on is really good. And then Cam Dorner, I think I've never seen a guy, you know, shake like that and not get touched off the line like that. So to have those two guys there on the outside will be really special.
You know, last year you were under Chandler Morris. You know, what did you kind of learn from him? How did he kind of help you get to the spot that you're at right now?
I mean, just kind of seeing quarterback played at a high level, it just kind of like makes you, you know, you watch it and you're like, dang, like I can do that. And so that's what I kind of got from it, is just seeing how he would go about just preparing for the game and mentally, and then obviously going out there and showing off his abilities. It's kind of just seeing quarterback play at that high of a level and kind of trying to emulate it yourself.
How's it feel just being able to go into your first season surrounded by all the offensive talent you guys have?
I mean, it feels great. I think we got a really special offensive group and defensive group, but I think this offensive, you know, skill position group is elite, and you know, I'm excited to see what we can do this season.
Landon Sy is going to be sitting out this game. Does that shake up your game plan at all?
I mean, Landon's a great player, but he's working his way back, and I think we have other guys that'll step up and make plays just like Landon will.
And being able to just be in fall camp with Reese, has that helped you improve your game at all?
For sure. I mean, Reese has played a bunch of football, you know, been at Miami with Cam Ward. And so just to have a guy like that in the same room, it's the same as, like, you know, offense and O-line and D-line going against each other. Iron sharpens iron, and just having Reese to compete with every day has helped a lot for sure.
Yeah, you're about to start your first season as a college football starter. Where's your mindset at? Are you nervous? Are you excited? How are you feeling?
I'd say I'm both. Nervous and excited. You know, it's obviously, you know, a dream come true to be in this position, but it's also, you know, you see the importance of showing confidence to the team and kind of being that leader that they can all look to and see, like, this guy's confident no matter what, no matter if it's his first start, he's still, you know, got it under control, and he's going to lead us to win some games.
Are you just more comfortable this year than maybe you were last year?
For sure. I mean, I think to work with these guys for another 6 months-ish and to, you know, be you know, on the same page and get more and more reps with them, I think we can be a special offensive group this year. Thank you.
Oh, we're good?
Good.
All right.
Go ahead, Trey Fields.
All right, Trey, so you guys are ready for your season opener. How do you feel about where this team's at?
I feel pretty good for where we at right now. Everybody working hard, coming to work every day, and just trying to get better from yesterday and getting 1% better each and every day. Ready for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, one of the big storylines of the offseason is, you know, the remake of this defense. How confident are you in this group that Coach Cassidy has put together?
I'm very confident. I'm very confident in what Coach Cassidy calls, the guys they got in position, and we're just going to execute and play our game, play fast, physical, relentless football.
How far have you guys come defensively?
I feel like we came a long way from coming in the spring, because in the spring, I mean, it's going to be new to everybody, you know, so except for the guys that came in. But other than that, it was new to them. You know, we was rocky for a little minute, but just kept on working, kept on having meetings, and then now we just sharpening things up, still sharpening stuff up, and just like little techniques, but you can work on that. But other than that, we coming together great.
Yeah, I'm sure you've gotten to know Drew a little bit since he came in.
Mm-hmm.
He's named the starting quarterback. A lot of people are interested in him. What's he like as a guy just to be around on this team?
I like Drew. That's a guy, like, he's a dude. He's a dude for real. He's a silent killer. Man, that's a great quarterback. For him to not be playing since high school, freshman year, come on now, we gotta give him his flowers. But at the end of the day, we still gotta work, and then we gotta continue to prove each and every day that who we are and why we play this game.
Trey, you mentioned, that transition for everyone on that defense was a little rocky at some point. How was it rocky, and then how'd you guys kind of get through that?
I would say it was just rocky, just from guys not really knowing it because it's new. Like, if you go into a job space that's new, you're going to be like, okay, I got to adjust to what they like to do or what they, you just got to adjust. So things like that. And what was your other question?
How'd you guys kind of just get through it and adjust?
Continue working, like I said, having meetings and having walkthroughs and just showing where all the areas were from the practice before anything and just going from there.
Yeah, and then heading into week one, how would you kind of describe how comfortable everyone is now at this point in the system?
I feel like everybody is very comfortable. We're ready to hit somebody else other than us. It's been like that since spring. So we just ready to go out there and just show what we can do.
In live situations during those scrimmages, what do you feel like have been the biggest strengths of this defense so far?
Not bowing down. Like, okay, if y'all have a fast start at the beginning, we're gonna hone in and then refocus and stop you, and not gonna let you just have an easy way in the touchdown or anything. We're gonna make you work for each and every down.
Ethan Wisłowski and Shane Witter returned from last year. They're in your position group. What have you kind of seen from them, and how do you feel like their experience is going to be able to help this defense out this year?
Great players. They're really great players. Ethan and Shane, they help me out a lot on the field, and it's great having guys like them to help you. And Ethan, he's a younger guy, but he really does help, and he brought up some of the other younger guys to catch on the scheme and things like that. But Ethan and Shane are very great help, a very big help for me and this defense.
Offensively, Lamar returns their quarterback. They run the ball pretty well, considering they don't pass the ball as well. What have you kind of seen from their offense in preparation for this?
So far, we've been seeing a lot of gap scheme and inside zone. They're not really an outside zone team like that, but they like to hit it up the middle. They want to hit it downhill. And we love that. We want you to run the ball so you can throw it, and then we love when you throw the ball. So we love whatever the other offense like to do.
North Texas as a whole, as a football program, has increased attendance this past year. What is the message you kind of have to the fans that come out to the games, and how does it kind of affect y'all?
Man, having fans come to the game affect us a lot because it shows how much they enjoy seeing us play and just watching a game of football. Who don't want to watch a game of football? Especially that's the only thing that's going on this weekend, why not go to the football game? I mean, you ain't got nothing else to do.
So you're a guy with a lot of collegiate experience heading into the season. What is your mindset and feelings heading into week one?
Man, my mindset is just trying to get this team to go as further than what we think we can go. I just want to be great. Just everybody have the same mindset, being great and coming in each and every day and just trying to be the best that we can be, and try to be 12-0, 11-1, anything to flip the script from last year. We don't want to be 6-7. We want winning culture around here. So that's what I want to do, just have this team winning and know what winning feels like again.
Trey, this program's had its struggles defensively the last couple seasons. Is there any extra motivation to start the season, just how different this defense is?
Extra motivation, just stopping the run and making them throw. I mean, it's not much that I can say about last season because I wasn't here. So I just know the mindset that I bring from coming from Sam and being from 10-3. So like I know how I need to go at every day and to get my guys ready and make sure that they ready and set in the great position so we can have our best chances to win games.
Yeah, Mackenzie McGill's going to end up being you guys' starting running back this year for the first time. What have you seen from him over the course of fall practice?
He's very explosive, very explosive. Mackenzie McGill is explosive back, more downhill. He's you'll lose him in the backfield for sure, but he's an explosive kid. Him and Jab, number 5, they're both explosive kids. They're gonna help us a lot. Pass game, run game, whatever they want to call, or whatever our offense want to call, they will help us a lot.
You get to know Mackenzie at all since you?
A little bit, yeah. I've known Mackenzie a little bit from spring. We chatted a little in the spring, but our relationship kind of grew as everybody get used to each other and being in the locker room, things like that. So everybody, even on offense, defense, got a great relationship.
Yeah, what's Mackenzie like? Is he a fun guy or what?
He cool. Like he got a short temper, but he cool. He real cool. But you gotta know how to talk to people that's like that. So as long as you don't like push no buttons, I think he got a little man problem though. How. But
I was interested with is Joshua Pierce. He's actually going to be going home to Michigan when you guys play next week.
Okay.
Do you feel like he's going to be a guy that makes an impact for this team? And what have you seen from him?
Yes, Josh. He can be a great impact for us. He just little things he have to fix, but once he just not think about certain things so much, he'll be great. Once he just play and know what he has to do fully and not be second guessing, he'll be fine.
Yeah, and he's probably another guy you've gotten to know. What's his personality like? What have you gotten to know?
Josh is something else. He has a different kind of like. He's a jokester. He's a jokester. I'm gonna give you that. He a jokester. Already, y'all cool.